Welcome to lesson 4 of the One Tao Army curriculum. The kingdom of God is within. Now the reason I share that with you is because this week we're going to be looking at sensing. Sensing is the ability to sense yourself within space. Now, I was sitting at a train station in St. Leonard's, an area down from here, and I already started to learn about being present to yourself through Gurdjieff teachings, and I'd already started Wing Chun as well, so I was starting to develop my sense of myself. And I was sitting at this train station, and I felt like a stabbing sensation in my back, and I thought that was weird. And then I looked up to the top of, there was these stairs that went up, and then there was these two dodgy looking guys that looked like we call them searchers here, are the kind of guys that would stab you, and try to rob you. They started to walk down the stairs, come towards me, looking towards me, and me kind of being aware of myself, I was noticing their intentions through being conscious of my etheric system. And that may sound a little weird and fluffy and airy-fairy, but at the time, I overlooked it, and I thought it was just a coincidence. But in reflection, I realized is that because I was present to my space at the time, because I was actually consciously doing some training of being aware of myself in space, I had noticed their intention on my energetic system. So further, I was then able to I moved to a different position where I had a greater vantage point, meaning I kind of sat at a place where I'd be able to funnel them separately. So I sat behind the glass. There was a glass and a seat. I sat behind it. So if they came to attack me, I'd be able to fight one at a time. So I got up and moved and sat there, and they continued on walking, and train came, and that was the end of that. But what am I getting at? Training your ability to sense yourself in space trains you to be aware of not only yourself present in the moment, so you're not daydreaming about bullshit from the future or the past in a negative condition, but also it allows you to be more powerful for combat because you can maximize mass and momentum due to the ability to sense it. And further, you become conscious of the thoughts and emotions in the field and around you. Thoughts and emotions are real things. They're not imaginary. They influence the way you feel, and they also lead to actions as well. So you start to become conscious of the thoughts and emotions of others as well. So the kingdom of God is within shows us that, okay, training to be conscious of ourselves, be conscious within our own space, starts to give you access to deeper knowledge and deeper truths about life as well. So let's get into this week's lesson. Let's start with some mobilization, some warm-ups to get the body moving. So start with the Wing Chun swing as usual, stance on, spine tall, rising through the spine, releasing through the body, moving from the center of the center. Rising through the spine, releasing through body, eye line directly forward, chin slightly tucked. Relaxed in your knees, springy in the legs, eye line forward. Good. All right, bend and bow now. Tuck your chin to your chest, soften your breastbone, rolling all the way down. So you're getting a nice arch in your spine, opening up through the whole spine and coming back up. Opening up through the center, looking up to the sky. Keep that length and extension. You're not trying to collapse your neck backwards, you're trying to keep lengthening through the crown. Coming back. So you're not just dropping your head back, you're opening up through the spine. Let's go. So not this. You're keeping a sense of opening through the whole spine so that you get a sense of length, expansion, and energy through the spine, not a sense of collapsing. Coming back up. As usual, you can move around at the top or bottoms as to what feels good for your body. Good. Hold it there. Now spine circles, stationary position, rising through the crown, circling the head to open up the lower part of the spine. Maintain the hips as stable as possible. So you want to think of your hips staying stationary so that you get that sense of opening through. So the movement comes from the spine, not from the hips. So if I tilt my hips to the side, then I'm actually not using the full movement of the lower part of the spine. So try to maintain your hips in the right position, lengthen energy through the crown, circling the head, other way. Good. Nice big open circles, getting the spine moving. Good. And now we'll look at expansion exercise. So from here, You center yourself. We worked on centering before, so spine nice and tall, good feeling quality. And now from your heart center, you expand. So let a peaceful, joyful, loving, powerful feeling expand from the heart center, and you get a sense of opening through the rib cage. Lengthen out your arms now as well, so put your arms out to the side. And imagine that expansion is coming out through your shoulders, elbows, wrists, fingers, your hips, your knees, your feet. So you're expanding in every direction like a flow of good feeling energy flowing out from the heart center out through the limbs. Now maintain that length and stretch as you circle the hands, nice big circles. So we always want to have a sense of expansion in our system. And this exercise, Noah's keeping a sense of length through the limbs, but also expansion from the heart center through the whole body. So every joint has a sense of expanding in every direction whilst he mobilizes the shoulders and lengthens through the limbs as well. So like length, expansion, flow. Other way, this mobilizes and opens the shoulder joints, getting them nice and loose, fluid and mobile, so that you can generate more power and be more faster and free in combat as well. Also, it's just good for the health of your joints, mobilized and fluid. Good, hold it there, shake your body out. And we'll start doing our state training. So, either in your stance, seated or lying down, it's up to you. And start by closing down your eyes. Take some deep, calm, peaceful breaths. Breathing with a deep, gentle sense of ease. Calm down the mind and relax the body. Now place your focus on your feet, sensing the soles, the toes, and the whole of both of your feet. Slowly move the awareness up into the knees. From the knees, move up through your thighs and into your hips. So now you're sensing the whole lower half of the body. There is the sensation of the physical body, but you're also sensing the space. As we spoke about earlier, every cell has particle and energy, and wave, density and non-physical. So there's a physical and a non-physical part to yourself. There's the energetic side and the subtle side, and there's the physical side. So as you sense, you're aware of both. The words we use are sensation for the matter and sense for the space. Now, continue to move up into the belly and lower back, sensing that space, and then moving up into the chest and upper back. Moving into the shoulders, arms, forearms, and hands. Sensing into the neck and the head. Calm, peaceful breaths as you sense the physical and the energetic system. Sensation and sensing. So once again, we do this to develop presence. So you're present to yourself and what's happening within you, physically, energetically, emotionally, mentally. To developing presence. Continue to breathe deeply as you sense your space, and this also develops your martial skill, because if you can access and connect to every part of your physical and energetic system, you can intelligently direct it, relax it, move it. So it increases power. Calm, peaceful breaths as you sense your space. And now you can also expand to the space around you. So you have a physical body, an energetic body or an etheric body, and that energetic system has what's called an aura, a radiation, like a shell of energy around you. So sense the space around your body, in front of you, behind you, on your left and on your right, above you and beneath you. Sensing the space within and around you. Taking calm, peaceful breaths as you sense deeper and deeper into your space. Now, as you sense your space, bring to your mind your spiritual intention, your highest intention, whatever it might be. Love, joy, freedom, power, wisdom, truth. And allow its frequency to vibrate within your space, sensing your space in alignment with your spiritual intention. Take some calm, peaceful breaths and mentally repeat to yourself, may peace be in my body. May harmony be in my emotions. May calm, tranquility prevail in my thoughts. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. So we're going to go through the form training. If you're not interested in the form and the martial side, then click your tick button if you're on school. If you are watching this on YouTube, then jump in the link in the description below, and that'll give you access to our online school community, where we have a free step-by-step curriculum, a great community, access to live events, and more. All right, let's go through our form now. We're just going to go through it quietly today, and you can just follow along because we spoke you through it last week. Good. So that's parts A and B of the Silnan Tao form. Any questions or comments on that, feel free to post them in the community or in the comments below if you're on YouTube. So this week we're going to be looking at the Dai Sao movement. Now, Dai Sao there's a couple of places you see it in the form. So firstly, you come down in the form, then you come up for a Dai Sao, except it's slightly across center. So essentially you move it across here, and then we have this Dai Sao, or raising arm. But also it's very similar to a Wu Sao, a raised Wu Sao. It's similar, except there's a subtle bend in the wrist. So it's like a raised Wu Sao, or an upward palm from the initial part of the form moved across to the center. So the Dai Sao, essentially, why do we use it? Well, essentially it's for defense. So Noah, with his guard on, uses his Dai Sao movement to defend against circular attacks. So attacks that are coming around the outside gate of his defense. Now, the specialty of the Dai Sao is that if Noah faces that way as he does his Dai Sao, so left arm, yeah, the Dai Sao actually maintains protection throughout the whole movement. So it's not like a catching block where you're coming out. So he's not coming out to the side like this where he opens himself up. He maintains his defensive shield as he goes through the Dai Sao movement. So he maintains protection. He also aims to control the center. So if you face the camera, you'll see that as he does his Dai Sao, he's maintaining his control of the center simultaneously as he does it. So he keeps center line control. Further, because of the position where, as he comes up, he keeps a direction where the forearm feeds towards the elbow, it leads to a great deal of structural integrity. So if he faces me, he keeps his spine tall and raises his Dai Sao up. You'll see that I'm able to put an immense amount of weight and pressure into this shape. So it's actually quite structurally integrous due to the position of the elbow in alignment with the forearm for force to come down through the humerus into the stance. So the arm is supported by the stance. So it's very structurally integrous. And lastly, why do we use it? Because generally speaking, it's used with simultaneous attack. So as Noah puts up his Dai Sao, generally speaking, he'll be striking simultaneously, bang. So it's more direct and fast in that sense. So as Noah goes to punch towards me, as soon as he goes to hit, I'm striking simultaneously as well. So there are a few of the reasons why we use the Dai Sao. The Dai Sao. So now let's first look at just the movement itself. So Noah keeps his guard up. He keeps his hand and wrist approximately on center, and as he rises, basically is keeping the exact same structure in the arm. So perhaps you can face towards me, lead with the other hand. So he keeps the same shape in the arm as he keeps the hand on center and rises it up, almost like a toy doll where the arm stays in the same structure. Now you keep this close to 90-degree angle because the bone structure and muscle structure are at their optimum strength in that position. So you can really deal with quite a lot of force there. He keeps his hand on the center. He keeps the elbow in a line from approximately the side of the body to slightly outward. Now the elbow position will change, this is a side note, according to the angle of the opponent's attack. So if you face me, Noah's got his arms up, ready for guard. If I throw more of a narrow hook, he'll keep that mirroring angle of the elbow to stop me from hitting through. But if I were to throw a much wider hook and he kept a narrow angle, then I'd be able to sneak it through. So he needs to mirror the angle of the opponent. So if I go wider, his elbow goes wider. If I go more narrow, he goes more narrow. So when you're practicing on your own, if you have no training partner right now, you can just think of coming up with the hand on center, elbow coming pretty much directly up, but it can also arc further out. You see how I can come further out to defend against more arcing strikes. So this is the simple movement. From your guard, raising the hand through the center, not going too much further than your own head because there's nothing to protect up here. Elbow will vary in its angle from or its distance from your body, depending on the angle of attack of the opponent. Just play around with that, going through it slowly, just left and right, slowly. So you don't need to, you can vary the amount of arcing out you provide. Now you keep this blade of the arm pointing more forward, so you don't point it up and away, because then you're presenting the inside circle to be crushed. The blade of the Daisao should still be pointing forward towards, at least somewhat forward towards your opponent, as opposed to me turning it up this way, where it's going to be easier for your arm to be crushed from the inside circle. Okay, so that's the movement. Any questions or comments on this, you can chuck it into the school community or put them in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube. So now let's look at using the Daisao against the punch. If you have a training partner, they're going to start off throwing slow hook circular strikes towards your head, or if you're on your own, you're just going to have to imagine you have a training partner. So Noah keeps his guard up, facing towards me, and we're just going to start off slowly in a stationary fashion. I throw a punch to the outside, slowly, and I suggest you start off in a rhythm, so you kind of get used to the actual movement. Now, you want to make sure, once again, that the blade of the arm is more aimed forward, so Noah doesn't want to turn his palm too far up, because then now I can attack. It's a much weaker position firstly, so Noah will feel his shoulders tightening up, as opposed to when it's on the blade here, the force can travel through this line into his stance. So on the blade of the arm, not the inside of the forearm. So in a rhythm meeting, Noah keeps his hands on center. I can go wider sometimes, so he has to arc the elbow. I can go more narrow sometimes. So just start off in a rhythm, and then you can actually build the speed up with rhythmic punches, just to get your body into a habit of moving correctly. If you haven't got a training partner, you can just work on left and right as a rhythm. So that's the first and simple basic exercise. Make sure you maintain the center, don't go too far above your head, and match the angle of the elbow. If you have any questions, you know where to put them. Now for our next exercise. Now we're going to do it, it's the same exercise as Daisao, but now at random. So Noah's going to have his guard up, and you can, if you have a training partner, it's better, but if you don't, then you can, you're just going to have to pretend, imagine you have one. Now I'm not just going to throw the same side every time, you're going to throw it at random, so that it's now no longer based on rhythmic movement, it's based on reflexive movement. So Noah's training his reflex. So he now has to train his reflex to the movement, not based on a rhythmic pattern. So that's the next exercise you can layer into it. Now to add on another layer of difficulty to the Daisao, as Noah keeps his guard up, we're going to do it moving and tracking. So as I now move, he's going to track and follow me, as we usually do with our tracking exercise, making sure his knees and toes are pointed towards me. And then I can start to throw the punches rhythmically as he tracks. So left, right, so it's just easier to build up the skill. If you're on your own, you're just going to have to track the imaginary opponent. Unless you have a Tesla bot. I mean, it depends when you're watching this. You might have a Wing Chun Tesla bot that can do it with you. And then you can mix it up to be more random as well. So Noah now tracks, and I don't use the same rhythm of punches. I can mix up the cadence, the speed, and also which arm I'm using as well. Good. So that's the Daisao against a more dynamic, moving opponent. The Daisao and punch. Now this is how you'd actually use the Daisao in combination with a simultaneous attack. So now the actual movement is, as Noah does his Daisao facing the camera, he does his Daisao, he punches simultaneously. So as he does the Daisao, his punch comes out at the same time. So that as soon as I launch an offense, straight away I'm on the receiving end of an offensive movement as well. So it's not even like a counter attack, it's a simultaneous attack. It's kind of in between attacking and countering because he's doing it at the same time. So once again, facing the camera, you'll see that as he raises up his Daisao, he strikes through simultaneously. Now the way you can now train this, if you have no partner, you're just going to have to once again pretend that you have one, like imagine them moving around you, and that's very beneficial too because you're still training. But if you do have a training partner, Noah's got his guard up, start off stationary, Daisao and punch, Daisao and punch, Daisao and punch. You can, if you have pads, you can also use pads as well, to die sound punch, and just start off with a gentle rhythm. So I always suggest you start off rhythmically to get the movement pattern into your body, and then you can add the layers of difficulty. So, I can start to make it random now, like left side, right side, left side, right side, so you can mix it up so it's not always the same rhythm, so they have to work on reflex, and then we can add moving to it as well. So Noah now has to move and track me using that die sound punch. Then you can further add into that as he does it, he steps in. So as I go to bang, he moves into my space, yeah? So he even adds more power to the movement by stepping in as he does the die sound punch, closing the space. Good. So that's the dice out and punch, an extremely effective and useful technique in self-defense. Side note, often the strike that comes in self-defense is usually a wild type swing, like usually the right hand generally speaking, but it could be the left as well, coming around the outside, generally speaking, from an untrained fighter. So this is a very good and useful self-defense skill. Any questions or comments, please put them in the community if you're watching us in school. If you are watching this on YouTube, then make sure you join our school community. It's a great, vibrant, global community of spiritual and martial practitioners all over the world. There's further courses and also access to live events and more. So any comments or questions, put them below, and I look forward to seeing you guys in our next lesson.